Hey everyone, Blockchain Bernie here, episode 393, the Xandeum Big Picture. So what does big picture mean? How the Xandeum storage layer actually works. How does it generate income? And how is that income distributed to you, the pNode owners? If you're not already a pNode owner, don't worry. There's lots of opportunities for you to become a pNode owner and a pNode operator. But what is Xandeum? It is the storage layer, and there will be apps, storage-enabled, decentralized apps. We call them the sedApps. And those sedApps, they will pay fees to store stuff on the Xandeum storage layer, which is scalable. It's scalable to exabytes, and it is it is a file system, so it is a common programming model. So we expect lots of adoption there, where that Xandeum is launching the Munich release, which is the fully functional prototype these days. So over 100 pNodes have already upgraded to the latest release. So we're almost ready to launch. We want to see like 150 before we really launch. So we will continue, reaching out to the pNode owners and operators to update their software and upgrade their software. But guys, we're almost there. So, but now it's time for the big picture. And, after you've watched this video, you will walk away here and understand the two types of income that we have on Xandeum. There is one part that's called the rewards. And there's the other part that's called the storage income. So the rewards are kind of the smallish piece, right? They are just compensating people in the short term for what they do in the short term, right? That is not the real reason. Those rewards will not likely not make you rich unless the Xan price explodes. That's also, of course, a possibility and the goal of everything. So even the rewards with the Xan price appreciation can mean a lot to you. But the real reason you want to help the network and run a pNode or more pNodes is not the rewards. It is the storage income. And that's called STOINC, right? Storage income, STOINC. STOINC, so the storage income, and that is the real Xandeum storage layer, and it's very different from the rewards for running a pNode in the short term, or for being a moderator on our Discord. You can earn rewards for that as well, or you can earn rewards for running a validator in the Xandeum Devnet. But these are the rewards. It's a fixed amount of Xan per month, and it is not the big vision. The big vision, and that's this video, the big picture, is the storage income. That's why we're building the storage layer. And now let me show you something here. All right, so here we go. This is a little website. The link is down in the description. It is xnd.to/STOINC. So this is it's this web page here. This little web page is there as a draft, right? So it's the first time I'm announcing this here. So I'm quite excited to do all that. It will become an official document. It will become, officially announced and everything. And the guys from the Xandeum Foundation are working on it. So it's not only Anthony. You will get to know Anthony, the new director of the Xandeum Foundation, real soon, once he's set up in his Cayman Islands office. So he's just in the process of moving there, getting the last formalities done. He's already the director legally, but he needs to get his work permit finalized for the Cayman Islands and then move there and get into the Xandeum Foundation offices that Xandeum has on the Cayman Islands. So you will see a very nice video with him introducing himself and answering your questions. But for now, what the guys at the Xandeum Foundation are doing. And there's it's not only Anthony right now. They are setting up all these rewards document, right? So what we have here is the Xandeum storage income and rewards overview. So this page explains how you can earn rewards and storage income by participating in the Xandeum DevNet. Whether you're running nodes or moderating our community, there are exciting opportunities. So there are several things, right? So one is the rewards program, right? You get it for running a validator, for pNode operator, or a Discord moderator, right? So these are the rewards. I'm not talking about that today. I'm talking about the big picture here, right? So the big picture is the storage income. And what is that? That's the storage income is the revenue you can earn by running pNodes funded by fees from sedApps, the storage-enabled dApps. So that's why we're building all this. That's what Xandeum is all about. Build that storage layer that can be used by Solana developers to store data in that scales, right? So you can store, right now on Solana, you can only store data in Solana accounts. Those are super expensive and they are limited by capacity. So with the Xandeum storage layer, we're kind of breaking the chains here of the capacity limitations, and the Xandeum storage layer can store exabytes or even a zettabytes of storage here. And they do it all in the form of a file system, which is much nicer, much more developer friendly than the Solana accounts. So now you see that picture here, right? So let's let that sink in. We have the sedApps up here, right? So those are all the apps, the storage enabled apps. They call the storage layer and pay SOL for the storage transactions, right? That goes into the Xandeum storage layer here, right? The Xandeum storage layer collects these fees in SOL from those sedApps, the storage-enabled decentralized apps, and then 94% of these fees collected go to the pNode operators, right? So 94%, let that sink in. 94% is a lot, and that's because you guys, you are operating the pNodes. You are Xandeum, right? And you will get all these rewards after that cut of 2 times 3%, and I will show you in a bit where that cut goes. But 94% is going to the pNode operators. Now, if you think about how large could those storage fees be that the sedApps are paying, and obviously, it should be clear to anyone right now that is super dependent on the adoption of the Xandeum storage layer, right? If there's no sedApps, nobody's building apps, then there will be no fees collected, right? If there's a few apps, but the apps are bad and the apps don't have tons of users and send tons of transactions, then also the fees will be low, right? The success of the whole thing and your success as a pNode operator depends on the Xandeum storage layer being adopted by real developers that build very cool apps, and these apps are being used like crazy by a lot of people. And I firmly believe that is going to happen because the tech, quite frankly, is groundbreaking, as someone just wrote today on our Discord. I think it was Y Metro, so thanks for that shout out. But yes, the tech is groundbreaking, and it means for the first time in history, we have a storage layer, a scalable storage layer on the blockchain that is, kind of on-chain, right? We want it on-chain. We want it tightly integrated with Solana, but we don't want it on-chain in the sense of it's in Solana accounts because that's too expensive. That's not scalable by storage capacity. So we're offloading the storage layer to a second tier of accounts, which is the file system managed by Xandeum, and it's offloaded off of the validators to the Xandeum pNodes. So the pNodes will do the actual hard lifting of heavy lifting of of storing all the data for all those apps. And that's why, because they do all that heavy lifting, they are entitled for 90% of the fees that are collected. And hey, my prediction here is with the storage layer being available, over time, most apps on Solana, if not all of these apps, will use the storage because it's there. It's easy to use. There's not much more, hard learning above the Solana developer experience, right? If you're a Solana developer, it will be a very, very easy upgrade for you to build Xandeum-enabled dApps. And so why it's all there, I expect most transactions actually to be storage enabled, right? And right now we have relatively low fees on Solana these days. It's only $1.5 million worth of SOL that is being paid each and every day per day on the Solana blockchain, right? I believe if we're even close to our goals, right, that most apps actually use the storage layer. And if you think like the storage fees and storage transaction fees will likely be like 5x to 10x of the actual Solana transaction fees, right? Because you pay for persistence and you keep all these data, right? So it could easily be $5 or $10 million a day, even at these low levels, that come in as storage fees, right? So this little thing here that you see here, right, the Xandeum, the Xandeum storage layer, those fees that come in, they could easily be like $10 million or so a day. And of course, that's neither financial advice nor it is a promise or anything. It's just to give you an idea of why we are building this here and what what we're aiming for, right? So with these 94% of these, right, they all go in the form of storage income to the pNode operators. And that, guys, is so important to understand, right? You're just not operating a pNode to get 10,000 Xand a month to run it, right? That is not the main thing, right? We're paying, Xandeum Foundation is paying these fees here, these rewards, just to lessen the pain a little bit, because it's not easy to run a pNode. You need to learn a lot of stuff. You need to do some hosting and all these kind of things. And as a little compensation for that, you get the rewards from the Xandeum Foundation. But the real payback will be, you will be the Xandeum storage layer. You will be a good part of the Xandeum storage layer in the future. And there is millions of dollars each and every day that will be distributed if everything works as explained with all the disclaimer that I mentioned. But we're aiming for millions of dollars every day. And that is literally billions of dollars a year, right? Going to the pNodes, not to Xandeum, not to the Xandeum Foundation, not to me or to Xandeum Labs or anyone. It goes all to you guys, the pNode operators. And that is so important to understand, right? You're building the future here, and all the rewards will go to you. So that's why you need to operate a pNode early. You need to buy as many pNode licenses as you can just to position yourself. And now I'm going into the math, right? Because that is important to understand. So with everything here, 94% will go to the pNode operators. I talked about that cut here. So 3% will go to the XAND DAO. So that's not even a cut for anyone. That also goes back to you, the XAND owners, right? So if you own any XAND or you earned any rewards in XAND for running a pNode, you have XAND already. So it goes straight into that DAO as in form of the DAO treasury. So it's not even going for anyone to get paid, right? And the other 3% here are for the Xandeum preferred investors. That's something that's still being set up, and that's our investment vehicle for larger investments. If someone wants to invest into the Xandeum storage layer, they can do it through this vehicle here, which is the Xandeum preferred investors. And all of the Xandeum preferred investors is limited to 3%, a 3% cut in these storage income rewards. And then once it goes to the pNodes can choose to pay the stakers, right? Because the pNodes is where you stake your XAND. Right now, the XAND is being staked in the XAND DAO, but that is going to change soon, likely with kind of the Stuttgart release or stuff like that. And then the XAND staking will work through the pNodes. And you as a pNodes need to attract stake, and I'll go into the details here as well. So, but for now, it's just important to understand that, you know, there is a storage income, and part of that can be paid back to your stakers that stake their XAND with you, the pNode operator. So now, how is the storage income calculated? And I'll make it quick here because you can read it, right? So that link is out there. It's out in the description. It's xnd.to/STOINC and all caps, right? xnd.to/ and then STOINC, all in caps. But the link is also down in the description. And also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'm asking you to do so because it's great content here that you get every week and you know, sometimes more often. Also, leave me a comment. It all gives you points in our points program, points.xandeum.network. And yeah. So now going back to this here, the formula, how is the storage income calculated? It's based off of storage credits, right? And the storage credits are the number of pNodes you own, the number of pNode licenses you bought. These go into the formula here, right? And that's different from what you might have heard before. Right now, all your rewards just multiply with the number of pNode licenses that you bought. So that means if there's someone that has 1 terabyte of capacity with one pNode, or you have someone that has 500 gigabytes on 2 pNodes each, that's the same storage capacity. But the guy that has distributed it over 2 pNodes and has bought 2 pNode licenses will earn twice the income, right? So this is very important. This is our investment vehicle, our funding vehicle here, right? We're selling these pNode licenses in order to fund our further development. And that's why these pNode licenses go out there. We want to sell as many pNode licenses as possible. And that means for you, if you buy another pNode license, you will automatically earn more rewards. With twice the pNode licenses, you will earn twice the rewards, no matter how much the storage capacity is, right? So if it's the same storage capacity on 2 pNodes or on 4 pNodes, right? Like 2 times 500 or 4 times 250, both would be 1 terabyte. But the guy that has 4 pNodes will earn twice the reward. So all other things equal, the guy that has more pNodes and bought more pNode licenses, that guy or gal will get more rewards. So it pays to buy these pNode licenses. So that's important to understand. All right, so now go back here. Those are the storage credits. And it's the number of pNodes times the storage space. This is the total storage space over all the pNodes that you own, times the performance score, times the stake, right? So you have these 4 factors here. It used to be just the 3, storage space, performance score, and stake. But it's also now the number of pNodes. So everything else being equal here, the number of pNodes will boost your rewards proportionally. Okay, so what does that mean? If one of these four is zero, then your reward, then the income is zero, right? So you get 0 credits. If your number of pNodes is zero, obviously there's 0 credits. If your storage space is zero in total over all the pNodes that you have, then obviously your income is zero. If your performance score is zero of all of your pNodes, then obviously you want, and that means pNode is down, right? It has been down for the whole epoch or stuff like that. Then there's no income, right? And if your stake is zero, then there's also no income. So you might have a little bit of XAND that you stake to your own pNode, and that gives you a little bit of income. But if you're a great pNode operator, you've bought a number of pNodes, you have a bunch of storage space to offer, and you have a great performance score, then you want to get stake in order to get significant income. And you're competing here with other pNode operators that do have a lot of stake. So don't think like, oh, I have 500,000 XAND, I can stake them myself. You can, but remember, there is, billions of XAND out there, and they will all be staked somewhere, right? So there's other pNodes that have high stake, and they will outpace you then, right? Because as you will see, there's only a certain amount of rewards coming in each and every day from the sedApps. We cannot increase that, right? If it's $10 million on one day, it's $10 million, right? And if someone has, 200 million XAND in stake, and you have, 200,000, then that guy will get 1,000x of your rewards, all other things equal. So you want stake, and that means you could stake your own XAND, that's the self-stake, but you also want other people to stake with you, other people that own XAND but don't run their own pNode. You want these guys to stake with you, and there is the Xandeum Foundation, guys. And the Xandeum Foundation owns a lot of over 1 billion XAND. And the Xandeum Foundation will stake their XAND with your pNode if you fulfill some criteria, right? So you need to run a pNode also in Devnet, not only on mainnet. You need to have a certain minimum performance score. You need to have bought your licenses at a certain point in time and all these things. And if all that happens, you will get stake from the Xandeum Foundation. So that's why this all is so important here. And let's get back to this formula. This is important to internalize, right? And then there's boost factors, right? To increase your storage credits, boosting your STOINC. Each pNode has a boost factor. It could be 1 or higher. And the overall boost is calculated using a geometric mean if you own multiple pNodes, right? So each of your pNodes has a boost factor here. That's the boost I, right? That, let's say you own 7 pNode licenses, and each pNode license has its own boost factor, right? And then we multiply, this is the Greek letter pi here, that means product, right? So that means all your boost factors will be multiplied, and then we take the nth root of that. So this whole thing here, multiply it first, and then take the nth root. That's called a geometric mean, and you can think of that as an average, right? And the average is just the arithmetic mean, but the geometric mean is something that we have here because it's boost factors, right? It's all about factors, so it multiplies, it doesn't add, so we can't use the normal average. So what we have to use is the geometric mean, and that is the formula here, right? So we take the geometric mean of the boost factors of all your pNodes, and each pNode can have a different boost factor, right? So here's an example for a wallet with 3 pNodes and 100,000 storage credits. So the pNode 1, let's say it has a 50% boost, which is a boost factor of 1.5. And pNode 2 has no boost, so the boost factor is 1. And the pNode 3 has 100% boost, so that's a boost factor of 2, right? So then we calculate that, and then you will earn your rewards as if you had 144,000 credits and not 100,000 credits, right? So it's basically a 44% boost, which is the geometric mean here of 50%, 0%, 100%, and you do, or otherwise 1.5 times 1 times 2, and then take the third root from that, and then you have the 144,000 here. So I hope that's clear. So each pNode can have its own boost factor, right? And I'm going to show you how you can get a hold of these boost factors, because these boost factors are awesome. They will give you more rewards, right? So there's lots of things you can do to boost your rewards. You can buy more pNodes. That directly goes into that formula, right? You can have a lot of boost factors for as many of your pNodes as you can, because that's going to boost you up. And then you can provide the storage and get some stake and have good performance score and stuff like that. So, but you know, all things equal, so there is one thing like providing the storage, having a good performance score, getting stake, right? So that's one part of the equation. The other part is the number of pNode licenses and your boost factors, right? So the number of pNode licenses, you can influence these by buying those pNode licenses. Yes, everything will be permissionless in the future, like when we're through all these eras here. Reminder here, no, they're not here anyway. Oh, here are the eras, right? Yeah. So once we're going through all these eras, then at some point it's all going to be permissionless, and it's probably going to be permissionless even earlier than that once we go onto mainnet. But you know, with no pNode licenses purchased and with no boost factors, you will earn no rewards, right? So that is that is something, you can participate, but the storage rewards, the distribution will all be based on the pNode licenses bought and the boost factors, right? So now let's get into these boost factors, because that's where it gets interesting, right? Ways to earn boost factors. So there is NFTs, and there is the pNode purchase eras, right? So again, here are all our eras, right? We're at the end of Deep South, so we're almost breaking into South, and then we're going into all the other eras here, and up until the North era, right? So the earlier you buy your pNodes, the higher your boost factor. So that means all the pNodes bought in Deep South, those are the 300 that have already been sold, right? They get a boost factor of 16. Can you believe that? So they are boosted 16x, right? That's 1,500% boost. So let that sink in. 1,500% boost. That's a 16x compared to the pNodes that will go live permissionless, right? So you buy pNode licenses early, and what you get in return is of these high rewards. And again, we're aiming someday for 10 million. And you know, maybe it's 100 million someday. We don't know, of course, right? But you know, millions a day, and getting 16x as much share of that incoming fees as others that haven't bought a pNode license. That is huge. It is absolutely huge. And this is all, these boost factors here are all there to maximize the foundation's income here to be able to develop the storage layer. Because as you've seen here, there's still a lot to develop, right? And we haven't raised any funds in like 2 years or so, right? So we need to raise more funds to fund the storage layer. So the Deep South, when you buy them in Deep South, and those are the 300 that have already been sold, but also the 49 that will be sold in a Dutch auction, they will also be Deep South, and they will all earn the 16x boost factor. That's important to understand. Dutch auction coming soon. Software is already done. I would even be able to show you the prototype right now, but let's do that in another video. Dutch auction coming soon, and all the ones that you've already bought and the ones that will be sold in the Dutch auction, they all count as Deep South pNodes, and they get the 16x factor. In the South era, we might sell some as well. We don't know how many yet. It's not decided yet. But they only get a 10x boost factor. In the mine era, it's only a 7x. In the coal era, it's a 3.5. In the central is 2. And in the north era is 1.25. So you will see here that you are in a fantastic position with your Deep South era pNodes. And the great news is there will be 49 more of those available in a Dutch auction really soon. All right, so that's great. Those are 16x boosted pNodes that we're talking about here, right? So then we have NFTs. So there are a few NFTs here that you can earn that give you other high boost factors, right? And that will all be in the details of the Dutch auction. I'm doing that in the next video, or maybe in a video out of schedule real soon. So you need to know all the details of the Dutch auction. But if you buy early in the Dutch auction at a high price, you will get an 11x boost. If you buy that's in the first 2 hours. It's a 48-hour Dutch auction. You buy in the first 2 hours, you get a Titan NFT for each pNode that you buy. So the NFTs are attached to your pNodes, right? And then first 2 hours, you get the Titan NFT. Then the next 10 hours, you get the Dragon NFT with a boost of 4. And then for the next 12 hours, it's a Coyote, and it's a 2.5x. And then the next 12 hours, it's a 1.5x with the Rabbit NFT. And the last 12 hours of the Dutch auction still give you a Cricket NFT at a boost factor of 1.1. So that's kind of a friendly Cricket. It even gives you 10% boost. So that's how it looks like, right? So the details of the Dutch auction to be announced soon. And yeah, here we have that final storage income calculation, and that's our formula here. It just means storage income is total fees generated by the storage layer, right? This could total fees, think of it like 10 million a day or like 2 billion a year, something like that. 2 billion a year. Times the pNode share, so that's your credits, and then the boosted credits, right? And divided by the total boosted credits of all wallets, right? So it's all relative. We only have these total fees to share here, right? And the pNode share, sorry, I did that wrong here, right? So this is the total fees coming into the storage layer. This is the 94%, right? So we take 94% of that because the 2 times 3%, that's the cut, and it goes somewhere else. Part of that 3% goes to you also, just through a different route, right? Because you're a XAND owner, right? So it goes into the XAND DAO. And then we have the boosted credits here, which is, just the boosted credits that we just talked about, these ones here, right? And that is divided by all boosted credits of all wallets. So it's just sharing these daily incomes that are coming in here. So you need to maximize your boosted credits. You can maximize them by providing a lot of storage. You can maximize them by having a great performance score per pNode. You can maximize them by having a lot of stake. That's important. That's very important. You need to get people to stake their XAND with your pNode. And the most of the XAND of people that don't run a pNode themselves is probably in the foundation, right? There are some large owners of XAND that have, bought them, but they will likely run their own pNode, so they stake it to themselves. So it's basically just a foundation that can give you a lot of XAND in stake. So you will need to see the Xandeum Foundation Delegation Program, which is going to be published also real soon, to see how much stake you can get there. All right, so this is all this, and then the other way to maximize your earnings of the storage income, to maximize your share of potentially billions of dollars a year, is buying as many pNode licenses as you can and getting those boost factors as high as you can. So this is all the math behind it here. I hope this was helpful to anyone. And let me just see the live chat here, because we're having a few guys here. Oh, and a few questions have actually accumulated here. Nicolo even turned off the X files. Wow, wow, wow. So when airdrop 2, I think we talked about that a lot. Nicolo, interesting to know the storage cost from Xandeum versus old style Web 2 storage, such as AWS. We've done a few calculations on that, and it all depends, obviously, on the redundancy. Right? How much redundancy an app wants. If you want like a redundancy of 43, then it's going to be expensive because you're going to be using the services of 43 pNodes for each amount of data that you store. But it could be like a factor of 2 or 3 if you don't need that much of redundancy. And Filecoin is usually operating under that 2 to 3 redundance. We have a benchmark on how much storage costs on Filecoin, and we're going to be in about that range. We're likely going to be lower than that because we have some optimizations in our consensus mechanism, right? We don't have to scan through all the hard disks to make sure to do that proof of space-time, right? We've optimized that, and we have a lot of other optimizations in there. And we're also getting challenges from the validators and stuff like that. So we expect we can be very, very competitive here. And the 2 to 3x redundancy on Filecoin is already cheaper than AWS. Right? It's not like orders of magnitude cheaper, because in the end, all the storage just needs to be paid for. But you get a 2 to 3x redundancy on Filecoin cheaper than you can buy it on AWS. And we think we have good chances of undercutting the Filecoin prices because of these optimizations in the consensus mechanism. But in the end, it'll all be decided by market forces, right? So there is like a marketplace built in here into the Xandeum layer. And it will all be driven by supply and demand and by dynamic fee markets, right? So, yeah, that was that question. If the storage fees are divided up as shown, how will and how much will vNodes get? The vNodes, Nicolo, those are the validators, right? So if all goes to plan here, we only need the validators in the Devnet. But once we go live on mainnet, where real fees are being generated, it will be the Solana validators, right? So we will use Solana mainnet and just implant some of the Xandeum-enabled RPC nodes, which are also a type of validator, right? So those RPC nodes on Xandeum mainnet that can speak Xandeum and that can communicate with the pNodes, those have a super high income potential, but on a completely different path, right? Those are real businesses that need to make sure that developers buy the RPC services from them, right? They will not earn from the Xandeum network in any way, right? It's just like there's developers out there that build apps on Xandeum, and they need great RPC nodes, and they cannot buy them at Helios or anywhere else at Triton, which are some of the big Solana RPC nodes. They can't buy it there, so they have to buy it from Xandeum-enabled RPC nodes. And those are the plans that developers pay like $200,000, $500,000 a month to get these RPC services, right? But the V nodes, it's just we just need them in the Devnet for now, and they only get the rewards, but there will be no storage income for the validators. That is all on the pNodes. And some people also didn't understand that, and I had a lot of discussions recently with a few people that thought like it's all on the validators. We switched the model at some point, right? We went from the old XAND-C, the Xandeum Classic, to that new model that's all on Solana. So we will rely on Solana mainnet validators, and you can, yeah. So I hope that explains. There's a lot of detail to explain, but I don't want to, spend hours on one questions here, right? But storage income only goes to the pNodes. They do the heavy lifting of storage, not the validators, right? Okay, so Bikram, hello. Sasha, hi. Hindero, all the guys all here. That's awesome. Sasha asking, are you German? The name reads so German, right? The Sasha with SCH and the cool man. So yeah. But anyway, when will the Dutch auction go live? We're just doing our last preparations. We want to publish the mechanics of it. At what price do we start, and how does it decrease towards the end of the Dutch auction? We need to get those NFT done so that they look nice for you. We're also doing an email campaign right now with getting some new email addresses and getting people excited for the Dutch auction. So I would say realistically maybe like 2-3 weeks or so. That should be about the time frame. What's the maximum storage capacity there? Great question. There is no maximum storage capacity. I have some disturbances in the video here right now. Not sure if you see it also, but anyway, there is no maximum storage capacity, so you can offer as much as you want. And the whole Xandeum storage layer is built in a way that it can store many exabytes, and I think it can store even zettabytes of data, and it can basically store the world's data redundantly, tamper-proof, and readily accessible to smart contracts, right? Is the data held redundant? Yes, we have configurable redundancy. Talked about that in many other videos. So each app can decide what level of redundancy they want. The Munich release doesn't have redundancy yet, so you see that on here. So in Mun and the redundancy will come here in actually the where's that here? Something happened here. So redundancy will happen in the Stuttgart release, right? So the Herrenberg is already almost finished with development here. So we're already there. We do Ingolstadt, which is basic pNode rewards. So that might be a larger release. So we need to calculate the performance scores and all that kind of stuff. And then in the Stuttgart release, we're going to have redundancy, right? So this is all our plan here. All right, next question. Then Vito, but weren't people limited to 3 pNode licenses? They were, but they are not anymore, right? So in the Dutch auction, 49 more Deep South pNodes, And also after that, in the other eras, in the South era, the Mine era, etc., there will be no limitation anymore for 3 pNodes. We had that limitation for the 300 in the early days. This limitation is gone. So in the Dutch auction, if one guy buys all 49 within the first hour, gets 49 Titan NFTs, which is awesome, right? They get a 16x boost for the because they buy in the Deep South era, and they get an 11x boost in addition to that, right? So that's like 172 or something, 176 x boost, right? So they are like motivated to do that. So that's how the Dutch auction works. All these pNodes, they can be gone anytime. It's only 49, guys. It's only 49, and they can be gone anytime. So if you wait too long and think like, oh, let's wait, they get cheaper all the time, the only thing you risk is like they could all be gone and there's nothing left for you, right? So that's how it works. Yeah, someone can have tons of pNodes, right? No limitation there. And later on, there will be decentralization requirements, right? So once we get to later eras, the foundation will come up with measures to make sure that, you know, there cannot be more stake to a pNode that already has a lot of stake, right? That happens on Solana also. There's the so-called super minority on Solana that together has like 30% of the stake, and that's like, I don't know, 12 validators or so. And they cannot, they are not incentivized to get more because, you know, they already have a lot, and we want it decentralized. So we want to keep it decentralized at a certain point, but now we're at a prototype phase, we're at an MVP, minimum viable product phase. So we don't need all of the decentralization right now. That will be introduced at a later stage, and that will be a factor of many things, not only the number of pNode licenses, but kind of the total stake, the total boosted factors and stuff like that. Yeah, and also, is the payout going to be enough? That's still Vito here, who's asking that. Is the payout going to be enough to maintain the storage fees incurred by pNode operators? Yeah, I mean, that's why we have the rewards also, right? The rewards are designed to give you the rewards to kind of cover your expenses, right? And it will cover more than your expenses, right? The storage income, that's the real upside potential. That's why you're doing this, right? You're not doing this to earn $5,000, right? You're doing this to earn, you know, $5 million or something like that, right? And again, you know, just an example, just to make clear that the storage income, that is later there when we go to mainnet and everything, and help the community, help get the word out, help find developers. Don't, you know, don't minimize Xandeum in public, right? It'll hurt you, right? It'll just hurt you with the Xand price and with anything, right? So that's how you can help. And yeah, some of the projects you've discussed are memory intensive. It will be key to be able to properly fund the increasingly expensive storage while still turning a profit for the operator. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, not sure what you mean in detail. It sounds very thought out what you're writing here, but I can't fathom it that quickly here now. All I can say is the rewards will help you cover your expenses, and the storage income will be your upside. That will be the real reason, and we see that on Solana also, right? With you know, the early validators, you know, are earning a lot, and mostly because of their high stake, right? Then if you can only have 3 pNodes per wallet, how do you increase your boost factor with a fourth pNode? That's Nicolo asking. If you can have 3 pNode, if you only can have 3 pNodes per wallet. That was the same question, right? That limitation, 3 pNodes per wallet, that's gone, right? With the Dutch auction, that limitation is not there anymore. Great news, right? Xandeum, to do, Peter. NFT Xandeum early node owner boost. Oh, that's already there. I didn't mention it when I talked about it, but it is here. The Xeno NFT gives you a 10% boost just for having the Xeno NFT, right? That's the Xandeum early node owners NFT. So it's documented here. We've done it. So now, what's next? Thank you. Great idea. Xandeum is doing great. And Darrow, Peter, we'll have to watch this video again. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff here, right? And I wasn't going through it too fast because I know it takes a little time to digest, right? And I'm always here. I'm on Discord and everywhere. If you have any questions, or the best thing is ask the questions on X for the public, right? It helps us getting the X coverage. Sasha, are there plans to integrate the XAND RPC calls to the larger Solana RPC providers? Yeah, that's not our plans. I mean, it's their plans, right? So once they see the layer is live and once they see we have traction, they will do that, right? And we will reach out to them, right? I just feel like right now I have reached out to Triton. You know, Brian Long running Triton. He's almost a friend of ours right now. And I talk to him in person and video calls like a few times a year. He knows that, and obviously for them, it's just a matter of priority. Once the storage layer is there, once it's on mainnet, and once some apps are out there, whether it be our demo apps, the Xandeum demo apps, or be it some apps built by the community, right? And once that is there, they will see the big business there, and they will integrate Xandeum into their RPC offerings. But if you want to become an RPC provider on Xandeum before they wake up, that is also a huge opportunity. Not everyone can do that. It's a serious business. You really have to be able to set up a business, hire people, pay them before you earn anything. So you definitely need capital to do that, and even pay those validators that are RPC enabled. So yeah, that's all there. But yeah, it has to be like that, right? So one day, Triton, Helios, and everything, they are not spelled the correct way, by the way. But anyway, all right. Okay, Sasha is German. Yeah, that's what I thought. Moon Lady, thank you for the detailed information. Sasha, okay, thank you, Bernie. A disturbance in the force. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here with the video signal. And Nicolo again, this is a really good explanation, far more understandable this way. Yeah, I thought like I needed to do a long form thing, and I might do a few more short form things on X just to give you quick bites, digestible bites of just a tiny aspect of it. But I thought like we need to have it explained all together here. Why Metro is here. Hey, I called you out, Why Metro. Thanks for calling us out today on Discord and saying our tech is groundbreaking, which it really is. But thanks for mentioning. All right, good. So this was it. I think it was again almost an hour, but it was a lot of information this time. And yeah, I recommend watching it again. Maybe if you watch this one on YouTube, watch it again on X, and vice versa, to give the other platforms some credit as well. And continue, guys, supporting us on X. And some guys asked about the airdrop 2, and airdrop 2 is still in the works, of course. And we're working with that company that can help us doing the airdrop, right? The first quote from that company is like $100,000. So we need to probably look for some other quotes or some other ways to do that. And that all takes time, but we're doing it as fast as we can. Thank you everyone for participating, for collecting those points. That is still very important to collect these points. That way you can participate in the ecosystem without any, investment in cash or something. So thank you everyone for collecting these points. Thanks for asking for the airdrop 2, which is very much in the works. We just want to do it right, and it takes a little bit of work here to get prepared, and that's all on top of all the other things that we have to do with the development, with the launch of the Dutch auction, with the launch of the South era and the Munich release, with the launch of developers getting onboarded and actually building apps. And we're doing projects on Superteam. There's going to be a project on Superteam soon to build a rewards calculator. So what I've explained in this video, doing a little calculator where you can say, hypothetically, I own this many pNodes, I have this performance score, I provide this storage, and then this and that many Sol are coming in every day or every year, and the calculator can have like a toggle button. Do you want it? Do you want it per year, per month, per week, or per day, or per hour? And you might be able to enter the Sol price, or let the calculator pull the Sol price from somewhere. So that would be a nice calculator. And honestly, guys, if someone builds this calculator and that turns out to be the go-to calculator that most people use, then you will be a celebrity in the Xandeum community, and you will automatically get stake, and you need stake, right, in order to get the maximum storage income out of your pNodes, right? So this will be a great project. We will be incentivizing that through Superteam, and I'm not sure yet if it's just the best one will get it, or the best one and then the second and the third or something like that. It will be a grant, right? It will be a grant, and the grant is meant to be an incentive for you to develop that calculator. You don't develop it for us. It won't be a Xandeum product or anything, right? You just do it. You own that. You can host it. And as you all know, hosting costs virtually nothing these days. But then you're online and you get visitors, right? You get visitors because everyone will be interested in, okay, if I were to run a pNode on Xandeum, how much would be the rewards, right? And then they Google it, Xandeum pNode rewards calculator, and then it's going to be your site, right? And the Xandeum Foundation even pays you. It's going to be a grant, and that grant is supposed to cover part of your development expenses or marketing expenses or whatever you might have there. So that is great stuff. I wanted to mention that in this video. Okay. So then Sam Anderson, you said, when is the airdrop again? Well, I said it so many times, but I could, you can ask me another 1,000 times. We'll do it when we're done with all these tasks. It is high on our priority list, right? We're super thankful for everyone collecting these points, helping us on X, helping us everywhere. We couldn't do it without you. And that's why the airdrop 2 is super important, but we need to do some other things. But the good news is, by the airdrop 2 being a few weeks later, it doesn't mean you lose anything, right? Okay, so I asked those pNode questions before you explained the answer. Yeah, I get that. It's a little bit of a time overlap here. And then Peter, one last question. Are ARM CPUs really out? The pod is only x64. They are not really out. I love ARM CPUs also, and some type of other CPUs. It's just we just focus on the one that's being most requested right now. And everything else is just, we have so much to do, right? It's so many parallel tracks: developing the software, launching the Munich release, finding developers, writing nice documentation so that the setup developers will actually like it. All these type of things that we, planning the Dutch auction, writing the Xandeum Foundation rewards program, writing down the storage thing, getting the foundation up and running legally with everything, and then it's the airdrop too, and everything has the same high priority for us. It's not like we're saying, okay, airdrop 2 is not important. It is absolutely important, and I understand the longer we wait, the more points will be accumulated, and then potentially the the rewards will be shared among more points or stuff like that. So that's why we definitely want to show our appreciation with several airdrops, and airdrop 2 is coming. We just want to do it right, and we have to do some homework. And whenever the homework is done, we're going to do airdrop 2. Okay, ARM CPUs, yeah, we just have to focus on Intel right now. It's like, we might do it at some point when we're live, but right now we just have so much to do. Yeah, we just can't. Can you move pNodes into one wallet if you have them on different wallets? I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's, how can you move them? No, we would need special software to merge these wallets, right? And we don't have time to write that software. So likely the answer is no. And then why Metro? My task list is currently empty. Will they come back in some time? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm doing these videos now when Kaveen is already sleeping. So he just went to bed like 1 or 2 hours ago. I'll ping him again. So yeah, we want to have these tasks in there on a daily basis. And yeah. Every time I asked him, and it's great you guys remind me, but actually Kaveen should do it on his own. And feel free to tag Kaveen on Discord directly, right? No reason, no need to go through me or so. I'm happy to forward it to him, of course, if you want to escalate it somehow. But just tag Kaveen directly on Discord and ask him to update the tasks, and I will ping him today. Right after this, to make sure he's doing everything on a daily basis. All right. Yeah, was a lot to digest today. Let's keep in touch. Maybe a Twitter Spaces with you guys being able to join in and speak there. That would be a great thing, because it's way more interactive than this way here. Where the questions are just typed. So yeah. Why Metro? Those Xandeum pools are gone on Radium. I'm almost afraid to ask. Don't need to be afraid to ask. So I refilled I topped up the rewards yesterday. I posted it on Discord. They should be there. So I don't think they're gone. Maybe they're just shown under a different thing there. Is there anyone out there that has seen them? I'll check again, but I can assure you the rewards are topped up. And I've requested a lot of XAND from the foundation, which the foundation has approved and sent. Which we can use to fund the rewards now for a few months, so that I don't have to top them up every week or every month or something. So I'm going to do that as well. Yeah, it might be under a different pool or a different farm now. Not sure, but it should be there on Radium. All right. Yeah, I love these interactions also. I mean, that's also our lifeblood here, seeing you guys every week. And rewards work again, Sasha? You mean the Radium rewards? yeah, I hope they work again. I topped it up yesterday or the day before. Yesterday, I believe. And Michael is always the one reminding me first. So thanks, Michael. He's not here today, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I love these interactions. Also, I see 39 live on X now, which is just awesome. And yeah, there's going to be an X Spaces soon. Let's do an X Spaces with everyone being able to join in live and ask questions. And, you know, exciting things going to happen, right? Over 100 pNodes have upgraded to the new Munich version. That's awesome. Likely I'll wait for it to be 150 before we go live with the Munich release. Then we're going to have big announcements for developers. And then we're going to have a section on the website where the projects are listed, the first adopters, the early adopters of the Xandeum storage layer. And that's all going to happen right now. And we're going to show that Xandeum Web3.js, that's that thin layer of additional things you need to learn, right? If you already know how to write Solana apps, it's only a very thin layer that you need to learn on top of that. And you can be productive with the Xandeum storage layer in no time. So that's all happening right now. The Dutch auction is happening. The airdrop number 2 is happening. And all these exciting things. And the storage income formula has been unveiled today in this video. This is also super important, and I'm looking forward to discussing these things with you. And yeah, as always, thanks so much, and catch you guys later.